You're welcome to this series of the video, right? Now in this video we'll be discussing how you can trade order block and fair value gap using simple steps without even getting confused. Like even a baby can understand this strategy after teaching you. So just glue to the video and let's head straight to the point, right? Because I don't like wasting time. I like giving values, going straight to the point and just helping you know what you actually needed to know. So let's go to the charts. What's up, traders? In trading the order blocks and fair value gap, these are the 4 easy steps you should watch out for. The first thing is to note the structure, right? If price is in the uptrend direction, downtrend, or if it is consolidating, right? Just note the structure. That is identifying maybe a swing, right? A swing high or a swing low. That's the first thing you want to do, right? Now, once you've done that, what do you want to do? On your higher time frame, this HTF is higher time frame, right? So on the higher time frame, you want to observe and mark out your point of interest, right? That is the order block and fair value gap. We are going to do this now in chart, right? So you just on the higher time frame locate your order block and fair value gap, and you can use the 4-hour time frame as your higher time frame or even the 1-hour time frame, right? So your high time frame can be 4 hours time frame or the 1-hour time frame. Once you've identified and mark out this order block and fair value gap on higher time frame, you want to quickly move down to the lower time frame for entries, right? Now what you'll be watching out in the lower time frame is to see price kind of actually try to test that order block and fair value gap levels, right? Because the main reason of going down to a lower time frame is to see a willingness in price to go the observed direction, right? So we just identify another block on higher time frame. Maybe we are saying it's going to go bullish or bearish, right? The next thing you want to do on a lower time frame is confirming the willingness in price to go the observed direction, right? And it does that through change of character, right? So once price tests into the order block zone, the fair value gap zone, and there's a change of character, is a strong confirmation. So you can execute seeing change of character or a fair value gap you can execute. Then you can cross check also by using your fib retracement tool, right? That is by noting the equilibrium and knowing if the market is in the premium or in the discount, then entering the trade. And the lower time frame you're using might be the 15-minute time frame or the 5-minute time frame, right? So let's just quickly see this in chart. The first thing we want to do is to note the structure, right? So let's look for bearish movement. Let's start with bearish movement, then locate on higher time frame, order block and fair value gap. I'll be using 1-hour time frame, right? So bearish movement, we're looking for 1-hour time frame, order block and fair value gaps, right? So let's just do this first. Let's move to the chart. So guys, right now, of course, you should know that for bearish movement, you want to see the order blocks above, right? The order block is always above, right? For a bearish movement. I've treated this identification of order block in my video. The link is in the description, right, of this video, so you can click to have a better understanding of how you can identify order blocks, right? So let's move on. This is an order block actually, but this trade is that of this week Friday. So let's just move into the charts to see a better setup, right? So yes, this one now, this particular up candle, right? It's an order block. So how do you know this order block is valid? First off is the highest candle here, right? This green candle here, this is me in chart. This green candle here. Now there's a fair value gap, right? There's an imbalance in nearly this order block. There's a fair value gap, and again it broke this structure. Let me mark it out with this trend line. It broke this structure from here, right? Okay, so the structure is bearish, and we just identified our order block, and we're trying to know if this order block is actually valid. Yes, it is valid, because the first point is that we saw it is the highest candle here, right? Then it broke this swing, actually broke the structure. Remember, I am on the 1 hour time frame, on the higher time frame, right? So it broke the structure and there's an imbalance. So let me just mark it out. This up candle here, that's where I'm pointing at, and there's a BOS. And let me also mark the fair value gap there. This shows that that bearish order block is a valid one. Let me mark the second point. All right, that is the gap, guys. The next thing, we just identified the order block on a 1 hour time frame, and there's a fair value gap between this bearish order block, this long candle, and this downgrade candle here. There's a fair value gap. I don't know if you can see that, right? So the next thing we're going to do is toggle down to the lower time frame to see how price actually played out. So I'll be clicking on the 15-minute time frame. So this is our mark. Now this is the bearish order block here, and this is the swing, right? From here you can see price tapped into that space. You couldn't get into the order block, right? But it reacted off that fair value gap. This was the gap marked on higher time frame, and it reacted off the fair value gap. Now, from our steps, we said immediately you've marked out the higher time frame OB and FVG, want to toggle down to the lower time frame, and we just did that, and we also want to see what to execute and enter the trade. We want to see a fair value gap giving us a confirmation and also a change of character. Guys, this was trending up into this gap, right? But suddenly there's a willingness for this market to trend down, and you can see the change of character from here, right? Use this to show you this it broke this structure, is a change of character. So there's a change of character here, right? And also, as you can see from here, there's a tiny fair value gap here, giving us a strong confirmation that this price is actually wanted to trade down, right? So from this fair value gap, we can enter this trade. We can enter the trade from the fair value gap using the opening of this down candle, right? From the opening of this down candle. So measuring this out from here downward, you can see is up to 68 to 6, just roughly 70 pips, right? Roughly 70 pips. Let me use the bear position tool to also show you this. So I should put my stop loss from here. Okay, drag this down, right? So my stop loss should be between this place. I should be targeting my TP. That's roughly 5:1 risk reward ratio, and you see is a good trade. So this is how it's played out, this chart. Let's locate another bearish order block, right, and also display this. So let's move into the chart. From here, this is another setup, right? So I just return to the 1 hour time frame. Now from here, this is a bearish movement, right? From this uptrend, this is a bearish movement. This is another bearish movement here. So let's check if this bearish order block is valid, right? It is the highest up candle here, and it broke the structure from here. Let me pick that area. So there's a BOS here, and it is the highest candle here, and also there's a fair value gap. So we can actually consider this order block as a valid order block, and we're on the higher time frame, right? You're using the 1 hour time frame. So let me just mark out the whole body of this candle, guys. Like I'm marking out the whole body of this bearish order block, right? After which I also mark out the gap. The gap is between this candle, this long candle, and this one. As you can see, there's a gap here, right? So it's very valid. Let me quickly mark it out. So there's also a gap from here. what do we want to do next? Toggle down to the lower time frame to see if possible entries, right? Possible entries and confirmation. So let me just click to 15-minute time frame. So this was what we marked on the 1 hour time frame. So the 15-minute time frame, the candle traded through this fair value gap, rallied down, right? It tested the fair value gap from here, but it didn't really give a nice confirmation. So it's kind of ranged here, then retraced back into this fair value gap position. Unfortunately, it was unable to tap into the order block section, right? We can see what price was doing here. It was showing from here an indication to change, an indication to continue from its direction, right? It was an indication that price is going to continue from that direction, from this is going to continue the bearish movement, right? Through this change of character here, right? So this is the change of character from here. So it's a strong indication that price is still willing to trend bearish. Now we can enter our trade from the close of this down candle, right? And set our SL around this area. Then we can take our first TP from here, then second TP from here. So let me just use the tool to display that. About 18 SL, 18 pip SL, 18 to 17 or even 20 pips XL, right? That's cool. So we can take our first TP from here, then take the complete one from here, right? As you can see, this is about 1:4 weeks reward, and it's a very nice trade, right? So if I should measure this number of pips again from here, from our TP down, that is 78 pips, right? That's 78 pips, and it's a nice trade. So removing this, let me also show you something. From here, do you know you can also take this, you can also use this point as a new order block, right? Trying to mark this. So let me just adjust this one to avoid confusion. So do you know you can use this point as a new order block? You can use this block as a new order block, and there's a gap. There's a tiny gap. I don't know if you can see it. There's a gap from here. Let me just remove this from here. You can see that there's a gap here. The order block was traded into, was it was slightly traded into, but price reacted off this fair value gap. Now there's a strong confirmation from here. It broke this structure, broke another structure from here, and then there's a fair value gap. So you can enter from the threshold of this long candle, right? That is this downward candle. So you can do that like this way, placing your SL from here and extending towards this place, right? Is a good risk reward. That's a good risk reward ratio. So without wasting much time, let's head on to identifying also bullish order blocks and trying to trend in the bullish direction. Guys, using this chart here, I can cite a lot of bullish movements here. So let me try to identify bullish order block from here. When the 1 hour time frame, I just spotted a bullish order block, and it also have a fair value gap. This is the fair value gap from here. That's a fair value gap. So that's the gap, right? And the block is the whole body of this red down candle. So having identified this structure, the bullish movement on a 1 hour time frame, we've also marked our fair value gaps and another block. We want to go down to maybe 15-minute time frame or now the 5-minute time frame, or let's stick to a particular to the same time frame that we use in the bearish movement, right? So let's continue with the 15-minute time frame and see how price will react, then giving us opportunity for entries, right? So let's go down to 15-minute time frame. Now guys, this is the 15-minute time frame, and this is the other block, right? And this was the gap we are looking into to see if price will trade into, right? And how it's going to behave around this area, of which it tapped into this gap, but it didn't get to this point, right? Now remember when we were treating the bearish order movement, we didn't really use the fib retracement tool, but you can use that as a confirmation, right? For entries. So price retraced here, rallied, retraced down into these gaps, right? And let's continue. You can see from here, broke this structure from here, right? Price broke this structure. It's downtrending, but it broke this structure from here. So it's a change of character and it's a confirmation to go long from here. The change of character from there. So it's giving a strong indication to go long, and you can enter a long position from this area, right? Immediately after that structure was broken, we already confirmed that price is going to trend up. So I'll use this tool to just measure out this movement. I'll be placing my Excel below this block, below this down candle here, taking full TP from here, right? Or even this position here. So just mark all the way. That's 1:3 weeks reward, and that is fair enough, right? That's cool. I can just place my Excel below 20 pips Excel, then take profit from here. So if you're measuring this out, measuring this from here, that's 86 pips, right? That's 88. That's 88. So and it's a good trade setup. This is how we can actually trade order blocks and fair value gaps, right? So let's do one example for you to be able to grab this better, right? So let's look for more example, and know that we'll be doing that in we'll be picking that um area of interest, that point of interest in our high time frame, and we'll be using 1 hour time frame. So let's go back to 1 hour time frame and see if we can still see bullish setup in the 1 hour time frame, and let's locate bullish movements. So guys, this is another nice setup from here. Let's try to locate bullish. This is bearish, trending down from here. What is happening? This is a bullish order block, right? It's a bullish order block. It is the lowest candle from this. This is an uptrend, right? It's a structure. So and it has a fair value gap, making it to be very valid. Let's quickly mark out the whole body of the candle, then the fair value gap, and see how price is going to react in the 15-minute time frame. So let's go. The Fair value gap is kind of tiny, but there's a first fair value gap here, right? There's another fair value gap here, right? There's a second gap here, right? So let's move to the 15 minutes time frame, guys. So from here, this was the other block, this is the other block, and the gap, right? Rallied up, did some retracement into the fair value gap. Now, why it was doing that, there are a series of break of structures, break of structure, break of structure, break of structure into that gap. It didn't tap into the other block. I don't really know why I'm selecting setups that are not tapping into the other blocks, but it's wrapping up the fair value gap. So, and it actually reacted from here, showing a change of character from here, right? Then reacted off from here. It's showing an indication to go long, and there's a fair value gap here, so we can put our entries from here, right? And targeting this as our first TP and this position as our second TP, or we can even extend our TP to this length, right? It already tapped into this fair value gap and it's showing a willingness to continue in the bullish direction, right? So we can just enter the trade from the threshold of this from the fair value gap, right? From the threshold from here, then maybe placing our Excel below this place, this way, right? And that's risk 3:1 risk reward. That's 3:1. Place our Excel below the threshold of this candle and extending it downward, right? So I'm taking our profits all to this level, up to this level, right? So that's that. And here, let me remove these two. It retraces down into this position, then still continue to rally up. You can see. So this is in a bullish. This is in an uptrend, a very good uptrend, right? And someone can still use this as a bullish order block because there's a fair value gap here. Then it's rallied up. So maybe we want to use the fib retracement tool. In using the fib retracement tool, you just need to define your high and your low, right? Then noting where the price falls. And let me show you an example of what I'm trying to say. Using the fib retracement tool, this is the tool. So I'll just mark, maybe I want to use this candle, right? This downward candle. So place it here and draw out the define your range and move it out. So your eye should be on this 50% level, and everything below 50% is discount. And as you can see, our fair value gap is below the discount, right? It's below the discount area. So it's an indication that we can go long. Or using this one, let me come back to, let me use this one. Let me use this defining my range this way. At this 50% level, there's a fair value gap. Got it. The fair value gap here, this candle and this candle, and it's in the discount area, right? So it's an indication that you can enter the trade from here, buy position from a discount, and it rallied up, right? So that's just it, guys. So hopefully, I want to believe this video was helpful, guys. If you've watched up to this extent, please do subscribe to the channel and turn on notification, right? To be part of this growing community of traders, right? Thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Bye.